I'm going to discuss it with the China expert, Paul Monk, who's head of China analysis for Australia's Defence Department. His books on China, many of them, include Thunder from the Silent Zone, Rethinking China. Paul, great to see you again. What do you make of this visit by Carr and Andrews?
Good evening, Andrew. It seems to me, if you read his article, as you plenty have, there are at least 3 points that jump out at us. The first is the one you've just adverted to, which is his claim reinforcing the party propaganda line that it was the Chinese Communist Party that defeated Japan. It wasn't even the Chinese Nationalist Party that defeated Japan, it was the United States. And Bob fastidiously fails to refer to the United States in that point about the war at all. The second thing is he says, but why am I content to stand on the same podium as Putin? Why are Putin and Xi getting together? Well, he says, Russia and China both suffered more than any other country from fascist invasion in the Second World War. Well, that's true as far as it goes. But here's the thing. Putin is currently doing to Ukraine precisely what the Nazis did to Russia. And Xi is threatening to do the same to Taiwan. That's the context that's ominous for the rest of us and which somehow seems to elude him. The third thing is that he says we need to talk to China because what we want to avoid is a clash with it, since its rise to power is something we can do nothing about. Well, the whole idea of AUKUS is that we attempt to do something about that. And the United States now is making very clear that it wants its allies to step up, to increase their defence expenditure, to stand with it, to endeavour to shore up and maintain the liberal order, which, by the way, has made it possible for China to flourish over the last 30 years, until Xi took power at least. So there's all the reasons why it seems dubious that Bob Carr would take the stance he has. And it's probably not out of place to mention, as you're well aware, that in the 1930s there were a number of British citizens and others who visited Nazi Germany and said, well, we should be talking to Hitler. And he's doing good things in Germany. It's hard not to see that parallel in present circumstances.
That parallel has not escaped me, Paul. Carr, in this piece also, talking about the one-sidedness, he claims that Donald Trump is America's first post-democracy president, as if Trump is the dictator. He does not, in this piece, say that China's President Xi is an actual dictator. He does not mention that they've sent warships to circle around Australia firing guns or none of that. I mean, why not?
Well, I think for several reasons. Bob Carr has clearly bought into the idea that has been sedulously propagated by Paul Keating, by Hugh Waite for many years, and by others, quite a few of them, certainly by Twiggy Forrest, for example, that China is the ascending hegemon in Asia, that we should discourage the United States from contesting that because it's only going to lead to a war which we shouldn't want and which we can't win. And that therefore we have to get along with Beijing. And they tend to say, Bob included, that this will mean we have to tone down any talk about human rights and liberal principles. This is a very disturbing mantra. Which he has done in this piece. Paul, he has done exactly that in this piece. It's a classic of exactly what you just said, and I invite people to read it for themselves and see whether Paul and I have exaggerated how deceitful, in my opinion, this piece is. Paul Monk, always good to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.